Good day and welcome to another Wily Wednesday. Last week something happened at our community gardens. A plot holder posted on Facebook that an item that they had left on their plot had been misused by somebody else and then abandoned in some bushes, and a part of that item had clearly fallen off and was lost. Now, obviously, when we have things taken from plots or taken from our own house or garden or whatever, it's extremely frustrating. And though I fully appreciated where this person was coming from, I also felt it was mostly worthwhile pointing out that it might have not been another person that had misused it, but it could also have been a fox that had dragged it off their plot and taken it away, and it just got abandoned. And then an email came back, not an email, a post came back saying that I was effectively trying to cover up theft on the site, which took me by surprise, because one of the things that I try and do is calm situations rather than cover them up, because I don't think covering up situations actually helps anyone at all. And as soon as I read that this person, who I do know, felt I was covering things up at the plots, it really raised my anger level quite substantially. And I was sort of, how dare this person say something like that after all I do and all my openness and trying to work with all of the people at the community gardens to build a better place and build a place that we all love and enjoy and socialize in, which is what happens. I'm now being accused of covering something up. And it immediately riled me to anger. And of course, I started doing what we all do. I started typing back. And then when I typed my response, I reread my response, because I've always been told to reread. When you're in anger, reread. And I thought, what am I actually doing? I'm responding to a challenging situation by adding more challenge on top of that situation in the response that I was giving. So I took a breath and I thought, how would I want to be responded to if I had been incredibly frustrated with something, and frustrated in such a way that I actually started insinuating or blaming somebody else for that situation. And I realized that I wanted to be responded to calmly. And that's exactly what I did. I deleted what I'd written. It was never posted. I deleted it. And I went back in a calm manner, saying that, covering things up isn't actually my nature. I'd much rather get things out in the open so that everyone understands the situation. And that made me think, why had I reacted in that way? And how had I resolved my reaction? Because of course, when we take offence at things, or we get angered and frustrated by things, those are our own personal feelings coming out. They may be very, very valid, but how you deal with those feelings is really important. And I started thinking about this item on this person's plot. It may have had very strong, significant value to this person. It may have been something bought by a friend, or money that was gifted to this person that they bought this special item. And in their mind, their possessions had been violated. And I understood that totally. I think we've all been in that type of situation. So whilst accepting that frustration of this person, I went back and resolved a situation and said, let's chat about these things. Let's sit down and chat. And the person actually, after a couple of interactions, came back and said, you know what, it's closed now. And that was fine. And next time I see this person, I'm sure we'll have a chat about it, and we'll do that in a very normal frame of mind. But it led me to think about not rushing to anger when something happens. Take that moment to think about the situation. Take that moment to think about whether you have misunderstood the situation, or whether the other person or persons may have misunderstood the situation. Think also about where the other person is. Put yourself effectively in the other person's shoes, because they may be going through challenges that are not on the surface and you know nothing about whatsoever, and something that might be trivial, which in this case I don't think it was trivial, but that might be trivial, may trigger something way beyond anything that could be expected. And if you respond in anger and frustration to that, you're just feeding those flames. Now, none of us are perfect. I'm certainly not perfect in any way. But it's good to realise that we don't have to take that anger side of things. Take a breath, take a moment, think back. One thing that I was taught very early on about emails was, when you receive an email from somebody that is challenging you in ways that you really don't wish to be challenged, the best response to that is, thanks very much for your comments. Let me think these through and I will get back to you tomorrow. And then sleep on it. Take time to actually evaluate what's in that email, because it may be that you are wrong. I have been wrong in situations, it's a matter of fact. In two work situations I can think of, I was in the wrong, and the person that was challenging me rightly, rather aggressively for both instances, but was actually saying, Paul, you are wrong. And when I thought about it, I realised I was wrong. And I went back and I apologised, and we moved on. That person is still a client 19 years later. So, yeah, try not to get riled. Try not to let that anger, when something challenges you or someone challenges you, because it's usually more someone than something, obviously, in these instances. When someone challenges you, try and quell that anger that you may feel, quell that frustration, see it from their point of view, look at it from your point of view. Have you actually done something wrong, or is it all a storm in the teacup? And if it is a storm in the teacup, don't then throw the whole tea set in with the storm in the teacup by responding to it in a aggressive and angry way, because it's really not going to resolve the situation. So again, another slightly different Wily Wednesday today, a tip about how to take that breath when you're challenged. Take a moment to understand why you may have been challenged, whether it's right you should have been challenged, or whether it's wrong, and actually you can respond to it in a very civil and plain way. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be treated well. I'm sure we all want to be treated well. Even those people that have anger in every bone of their body, I'm sure if they felt they were being listened to and treated well by individuals and society, they would have less anger inside them. So there we are. I won't waffle on anymore. I hope that's been helpful. I see it's now 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I thought this was going to be a quick Wily Wednesday, but let's see. It may edit down to less than that, or I may go through it and think, you know what, everything there is worthwhile. So let me have a look. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back next week with another Wily Wednesday. Might actually be Richard and I together doing a Wily Wednesday next week. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you like what we do, please do subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And I will see you soon. Bye.